It is the station that plays every song you know. Classic FM 97.3. It's 1:33 on the dot. You're in the Classic Lounge, your midday music magazine radio program. My name is Lawrence, and it's a time we've all been waiting for. Everyone has been sending messages on WhatsApp saying, get on with it already, Lawrence. Well, it's here now, and he is here as well. I've got the man, the legend, Kunle Adeyanju AKA Lionheart with me, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Lawrence. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure having you. It's like a movie right now. It's honestly like a movie.
The pleasure is mine, actually.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
everyone around the world, but especially us here in Lagos, have kept up with your journey. We did keep up with your journey, your ride from Lagos to London. And it has been absolute epic. You've even trended on Twitter. Absolutely, really. But first, let's go back into it. I want to go back to time, really. The name Lionheart, it strikes a very familiar chord. But why did you choose that name, Lionheart?
Actually, the name came to be like when I was 10.
Really?
When I was 10, yeah. I remember back then, and my mom told me, we went visiting my granny in the village.
Yes.
And, I've not met her before. So she was excited to see me.
Yes.
But after 3 days, she was getting tired, because they said I made too much trouble when I was young. So I think there was one day I did another, one of those troublesome stunts as a kid.
Right.
And she said it in Yoruba, like, I'm going to say it and interpret it.
Okay.
She said, like, why is your heart so hard like that of a lion?
Oh, really?
So that was how the name Lionheart came to be.
Well, it's not surprising to hear that. I think everyone who gets on a motorcycle, once you're a biker, I think you have a spirit of rebellion in you, whether it's rebellion in politics, rebellion in fashion, rebellion in whatever the case might be. It's a way of channeling that spirit of rebellion. You have that enduring, adventurous spirit, and it's quite interesting, really, to see that's how you got that name Lionheart. Because I think a lot of people have asked that question. I saw a few posts on social media where people were wondering why Lionheart, though. Of course, the man Kunle Adeyanju. Welcome once again to the show.
Thank you.
So let's get to know you first of all as an individual, right? You're a regular man. Some might think you're a Greek god, having ridden up a motorcycle from London to Lagos. But what do you do for a living?
Well, presently now I work for myself. I'm into real estate.
Okay.
I do a couple of BOT agreement with some institutions where I build, operate, and transfer to them at the end of the contracted period.
Right.
That's what I do. But prior to then, I used to work for corporations like Shell Petroleum Development Corporation.
Okay.
That's SPDC. I worked for Owando Gas and Power. I worked for British American Tobacco.
Okay.
Those are basically the three organizations I've worked for since I started my career from the university.
Right. Interesting. What university was that?
I'm at the Bello University Zaria.
Oh, nice. So you've been a traveler, whether it's by schooling or whatever the case might be. You've always traveled around Nigeria. But how long have you been riding for now?
Well, actually, I'm a cyclist. Let me put it that way.
Oh, really?
I'm a cyclist. I've been into competitive cycling for the last 25 years.
I see.
This bike actually is going to be my first motorbike.
It's your first?
My very first motorbike.
I was going to ask you, really?
Okay. However, I get to speak to a couple of friends. Hey, can I use your bike for the weekend, or can I use your bike for a week?
Right.
So if I look at it, maybe I've probably logged in about 4,000 kilos on the bike before this ride.
I see.
But cyclists, yes, I do cycling pretty well.
Quite a coincidence. Today around the world is World Bicycle Day.
Yeah.
It's a day that celebrates the invention of the bicycle, really, that came, of course, before the motorcycle. But so this was your first motorcycle.
Correct.
And you've had it for how long now?
Well, I think I had it. I've been on the road I was on the road for 41 days, and I took it a week
before you traveled.
The ride. So probably maybe less than 50 days.
It's so hard to believe. I would have thought you've been riding for a decade or more.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. That's a bold spirit you've got there, to be honest.
Thank you.
I understand the bike has a name as well.
Yeah, I call the bike the Eagle. When you're on the road like that for quite a long time,
yes,
right? And going through all those difficult moments, those challenging moments, you develop that unique bonding,
right?
With the bike. And
absolutely, yeah.
It's not like
I can tell you that much.
You have to talk to,
right?
And amazingly, the bike talks back to me.
Through
all those challenging moments.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So what bike is it now?
It's a Honda CB 500X.
500.
Yes, 500.
Now that's the part that blew my mind, because I would have thought with all the adventures bikes, the different kinds of motorcycles we've got there, the cruisers, the sports bikes, the sport touring bikes, the adventure bikes, I would have thought you would have gone for something bigger than a 500cc.
Well, while trying to choose the kind of bike I needed for this trip, I have to make sure that, I do the appropriate sizing of the bike that I need to deliver just the right amount of power that I need to scale it through all this adventure, precisely even through the desert where everything is scarce.
Right.
Then also, I don't want to take a bike that is overpowered. It has too much power that I don't need.
Okay.
Or a bike that is underpowered that can take me through.
Yes.
But after doing my ranking, the CB500 come tops. And it meets everything I need. And it actually did deliver, because all through the ride, coming in from sub-zero temperatures, that's in Europe, straight into 40, 48 degrees in the Sahara. The bike never had an issue.
Not a single issue, no overheating,
Nothing. Actually, I was even surprised, because in the heat of the Sahara, the Mauritanian Sahara is actually so much hotter than the Sahara in Morocco, because Sahara in Morocco is a lot windier.
Yes, but strong winds.
Yeah, strong wind. Mauritania is less windier, so it's a lot hotter. Even then, I thought the temperature would actually pick up a little bit, but it was still at that same point it was when it was in Europe.
Really?
So how Honda did it was amazing to me.
Well, first of all, I think it was a brand new bike, wasn't it?
It was a brand new bike.
So, it got a true test of time, to be honest, in just that one ride. Honestly, to be frank, any bike can do this trip if you have proper handling of it. If you wanted to use a sport, it's all to your own detriment if you wanted to use a sports bike, because I know that any bike, really, if you have the right kind of bike, it's more convenient.
Correct.
It's safer.
Yes.
It's more reassuring. But if you had like a sports bike, it's your back that will pain you.
Yeah,
your back would ache, but it would take you around, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it will, but like you said, it's the torture on the rider.
Yes, of course, yes.
Because the sitting position, when you're on this adventure bike, you're sitting, you're chesting out.
Yeah, you're upright.
You're upright. But when you're on the sport bike, you're couched. So the question is, can your back take that torture for that long?
The funny thing is, we've got some bikers who travel around Nigeria, even go out of Nigeria just to maybe to Cotonou here with a sports bike, and I wonder how they do it. I couldn't, for the love of me. I wouldn't try it on a sports bike. But was this your first I would say probably your first long distance ride,
actually,
right?
It is. It is a motorbike.
Yeah,
but on bicycle, I've done Lagos to Ghana on bicycle and back.
On a bicycle?
Yes, on a bicycle and back. And that's when you're sitting on that small saddle and you're there, like using both the cerebral power and your muscle power to push the bicycle for close to 10, 11 hours every day.
You must have very, very strong thighs right now from cycling.
I do.
Wow.
Yeah, the discipline and the torture of being a cyclist, that endurance discipline actually played a lot for me on this adventure ride.
Because the bike in this case is doing the work for you.
Yeah, it's doing the work. It's just cerebral that I'm putting in.
Yes.
Yeah, and more cerebral attention, because of the speed.
And it's more of endurance as well.
More of endurance.
Yes.
So the cycling endurance discipline comes to play. Then also, putting that extra discipline to put that cerebral concentration there also comes in there.
I'm actually more amazed that you rode a bicycle from Lagos to Ghana than I am amazed that you rode a motorcycle from London to Lagos. To be honest, it's amazing. I wouldn't do it. A bicycle though.
Yes,
wait,
bicycle.
Was that a solo bicycle ride, or you had a group of people?
No, I got two riders to come with me, so we're three in total. I need to get in what I call a race leader.
Okay,
the guy needs to set the pace.
Yes,
so if we are going to be holding maybe 32 kilometers or 35 kilometers an hour, so that we can do the day one maybe in 8 hours, have enough time to rest to do the day 2 and the day 3.
Right.
So the race leader sets the pace. Then I got the guy at the back as like my tail watch, my oil guy.
Yes.
Just in case maybe, how will I say, a driver or an errand driver mistakenly, want to do something. Yeah, falling is part of riding, but it depends on how professionally you can fall.
Of course, yes.
So
you have to learn to fall. Yes, properly. So you had one guy in front and one guy at the back.
So I was sandwiched in the middle.
Right. So it's in biking is what you call the guy in front is the RC, the ride captain, and the one at the back is the sweeper.
Yes, correct.
Making sure that everyone is safe, everyone else in front is safe. So how many kilometers was it from London to Lagos now?
12,000.
12,000 kilometers.
12,000 kilos. And from London to Algeciras in Spain, which is the boundary of Europe,
yes,
that was 3,100 kilos. So the other 9,000 kilos was all through Africa. That's from Tanzania in Morocco,
yes,
down up to Lagos.
Wow. That's now, how many days did it take you now?
Well, in total, it took 41 days.
Okay.
But that's not the actual riding days, because along the line, there were a lot of requests from Rotary International, and we had to go to the World Health Organization office. We had to go into the field, the Ministry of Health. We have to do a lot of community relations, humanitarian activities, meet and greet, and all that.
Yes.
So that added the number, extended the number of days. However, the actual riding itself was 14 days.
14 days.
Actual riding.
That's just 2 weeks, really.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That's actually very fair.
Yeah.
So one can actually travel from London to Lagos or Lagos to London in under a month.
Correct.
Basically, in under a month.
You can do it actually.
Wow. But it takes a lot of documentation, of course. You can't just ride all your way through different countries,
Yeah, you see, some people got to ask me that, do you need to do all these visas? Yes, you need some visa. In my case, I don't need, because I have another passport that get me through the border easily. But for people who have probably just the Nigerian passport, getting a Schengen visa will actually allow you to do even much more than the 12,000 kilos I did. Because if you have a Schengen, you probably can push it up to somewhere, maybe Finland, and by the time you're taking it from Finland to come down to Lagos, that's maybe adding another 4,000 kilos to what I did. So that can actually give you 16,000 kilos. So you just need to worry about the Schengen visa and also the Moroccan visa. And that's all, because once you get to Mauritania, your Nigerian passport kicks in. The Mauritanian is partly ECOWAS, partly.
Okay.
But Nigerian visa is just, Nigerian passport is 30 euro for the visa. Even if you want to use like a British passport, it's 50 euro. So it's actually cheaper to use the Nigerian passport at the Mauritanian border. And once you have that, that's all. You can just ride that.
But you must have experienced, did you experience any challenges at the borders? At what point did you find difficulties with maybe border officials? Were you asked to, there's sometimes you hear cases of people at a border who have been asked to present certain things that they don't have, maybe to settle one officer or the other, those kinds of gimmicks. Did you have to experience any of that?
Amazingly, I actually didn't go through any of it, but I had 2 major challenges at the border. 3.
Okay.
The first one was at the Moroccan border. When I was crossing in from Algeciras in Spain into Morocco, Tangier in Morocco, it took almost like an hour to cross the border. And why that took an hour? Because it was because of the bike, not because of me.
Oh, I see.
Because they have this pressure from the UK and the EU government, because they said a lot of stolen bikes from UK passes through that channel into Africa. So they were very strict. So anytime they see anyone with a bike, the first suspicion is the bike is stolen. So when I submitted all my documentation, they had to go through checks, and it took quite a while, and I was almost getting angry. You
weren't recognized as the man who is traveling from London to Lagos.
Then I wasn't. I just did 3,000 kilos then.
Yeah.
So it took quite a while, and finally, they came back, and the guy said to me that we finally confirmed your document that you're the owner of the bike.
After 1 hour.
And I said, confirm? How did he confirm? Is it not the same document I gave you that you kept on your table? So what confirmation did you do? He said, they don't rely on those documents. Well, they will take it, but they have access to the Interpol database. And they had to check the UK database that the bike was actually registered to my name. So it was when they confirmed that, they actually had to let me go. So basically, that was just doing the security checks.
What do you think would have happened if they had found, maybe to your knowledge or to your maybe you didn't even know that the bike was stolen. What do you think would have happened?
I think I'll be in prison
by now. A different hashtag will be trending on Twitter.
Honestly.
Wow. So I think it says something to every biker who might want to travel borders on their motorcycle, even on the vehicle and cars as well. You want to be sure you've got all your papers to date, your legal papers really, because if you bought a car or a bike off of someone and you're not sure of where that bike came from, you don't want to travel with it. Because there are people who buy bikes off of an individual in Lagos here, and you've prepared a long trip with that bike. I mean, you have all your documentations here, you think it's fine. And you get to that border, and Interpol says that bike has been flagged to be stolen. Bob's your uncle. It's going to be a problem.
The guy is certainly not going home.
Wow. But through the journey, whether in the desert or in the inner cities or back roads, there might have been a point where you wished you didn't embark on this journey. Like, who sent me? Who asked me to do this? Did you feel that way at any point?
Actually, the truth is I didn't feel it. You know, if you ask me, maybe, were there moments where I cried? The answer is yes.
Wow, really?
Where tears were streaming down my eyes because of the pain, the torture, the loneliness, and everything.
Wow.
Yes, there were moments like that. But, you know, it's okay to cry. It's a way of shedding emotions.
Yes.
But you just get on and do what you need to do and move on, you know.
Wow.
It's okay, you know.
So in crying, did you cry in transit or did you have to pull over to sob a bit?
Well, I think the first time I actually shed tears was, I actually didn't know I was crying, but when I got out of it and I saw tears streaming down my eyes, then I realized I was crying. I think I had sandstorm. I actually experienced two and a half, let me say two, or
two
major one, and the other one was just a small one. The one that actually brought tears to my eyes lasted an hour 40 minutes.
In a sandstorm?
In a sandstorm. I was
all by yourself?
Yes, all by myself. I was on the Moroccan side of the Sahara, and the sandstorm started, and there was nothing I could do. I could see the storm coming. So what I just did was get off the bike. Even before the storm got to me,
yes,
the wind, you know, the wash of the wind
was already strong.
Was almost lifting me off.
Oh my.
And my weight is about 90 kilos. Was almost lifting me off from the ground. And you know, in the desert, you can't stand the bike. Even
no, you can't.
Your standard stand or the side stand.
No, you can't. It will sink in.
It will sink in.
Yes, so you have to lay the bike down.
I had to lay the bike down. Then I had to tuck my head under the sand. Then held on to the bike. So my weight and that of the bike, you know, kept me off the ground. That was okay. So the sun was blowing, and you know all the brittle effects of the sun on my helmet, on my body.
Yes,
that was painful. But the other painful one was, remember, the temperature of the sun was about 45 degrees.
Very hot. Yes.
So I was lying on 45 degrees. The sun was burning, but I chose to endure that because standing up was a bigger evil. You know, was a bigger pain.
You could go off the ground if you stood up. Yeah.
And I just stood there. I was just saying, God, don't let the wind actually carry maybe an object and drop it on me. You know, that was the worry again, because it could pick up something from somewhere, maybe a tree, or I don't know, maybe
or a car or something,
and just landed on me. And the 1 hour 40 minutes that I was lying face down on the Sahara, on the heat of the Sahara, was a big torture. It seems like maybe 2 days.
Of course,
to me.
Of course, 1 hour 30 minutes. That's a long time.
I waited there for the storm to pass. So finally, when the storm passed, I came off. I was all covered in sand. Took out my helmet, and I was surprised. I saw tears in my eyes.
Wow! You know, we laugh about it now, but I can imagine in that moment. There has to be a movie about this, to be honest.
Yes.
Captured perfectly to make everyone who's watching feel like they were the ones buried under hot desert sand, you know, in the middle of nowhere, all by yourself.
All by myself.
In the desert, you never met anyone else. You didn't meet any human on the road.
No human. Well, I met some few trucks, you know, truck carrying export produce into Mauritania from Morocco. Just a few. You know, sometimes you could go for 100 kilos and you don't see anything. Maybe you just see a truck afterwards. Then maybe another 80 kilos, 100 kilos, you see another truck.
Yes.
So predominantly,
and they can't do nothing for you, really.
Actually, you know, one thing I discovered on the Sahara is everybody on the Sahara is like on life support. So if you run into any problem, you are your help. Wow. Don't expect help from anybody.
You are by yourself.
You are by yourself.
And so you had to, of course, learn certain skills before you went on this journey. Right, I can imagine.
Correct.
And interesting, really, what we have been hearing as he describes his experience riding his bike from London to Lagos. So earlier, before the break, we were talking about what you had to do to survive. And did you have to learn any skills, really, before you embarked on the journey?
Yes, I actually did. Before actually going on the ride, I had to do a 2 weeks attachment at the mechanic point.
Really?
You know, I need to learn how to fix the bike, because if I'm on the Sahara and something happens, you know, like a repair that I need to fix, and my own help. Then also I had to learn vulcanizing skills, you know, how to fix the tire. And surprisingly, I actually had a flat tire in the Sahara.
It couldn't be just the only one you had.
But funny enough, I had only one flat in the Sahara.
Really?
The other one was when I broke the rear wheel, when I ran into a ditch in Mali. Yeah, a pothole in Mali.
Those are the worst, potholes.
That was the worst.
And
there I was actually stranded. So we had to, you know, carry the bike to Kai, which is like 60 kilometers away, for the wheel to get mended. So basically, to do that kind of a trip, you should be able to do all those basic things.
Yes.
And, you know, the Sahara, it's, you need to worry with sand. So, you know, like, because there's really nobody there.
There's nobody that can help you.
You don't really have, like, maybe debris of, like, maybe nails or glasses, all those
in the
things
sand.
there.
That's the good part.
You don't have it. But the worry you need to do is with the sand, because, you know, coming in maybe at, like, 120 kilometers an hour or 150 kilos. And you just run into a pile of sand in the middle of the road.
You're going down.
So if you're not careful, you're going down.
Yeah, you'd have to slow down.
Those are some of the worries there. And to do that kind of a trip, I think it's going to be extremely difficult to do it with a bike that doesn't have ABS.
I was going to ask,
it will be extremely
ABS,
difficult.
and at some point you'd have to engage your cruise control. Did you have cruise control as well?
No, the bike doesn't have a cruise. But
so
if it has a cruise, it would have been better, because, you know, sometimes for almost 100 kilos, you own the road to yourself.
You have to hang on to your throttle.
Yeah, you just
but if you had cruise control, you just let go
just tap it,
and you ease off.
Yes.
So you had to be a vulcanizer.
I had to be a vulcanizer.
So right now, we can call you Volcano.
Honestly, if I have a flat on my car, now I'm going to do it.
Yourself, of course, yes, of course. Let's go to WhatsApp and see what messages are coming in right now. This one says, an architect friend of mine who lives in the UK has done this feat about 3 times. He opened up to me that things do happen on the trip. Then he's asking you now, has Kunle slept for a split second while riding? Did he crash into some other road users or vice versa? What are the dark sides of embarking on such a trip? That his name is A.K.A. AKA. So he wants to know what you encountered. Did you have moments of snoozing off while you were riding?
No, I didn't, because before doing this, I actually planned the trip for a year. So what I decided was, you know, I experimented with the mileage my body can take.
Okay.
You know, and I came to that figure of between 700 and 800 kilos every day.
Okay.
So having set up that kilo, and I plugged this on the map to make sure that 700 to 800 kilo lands me in a town or in a city where I can have good hotel accommodation.
Right. Okay.
So because after doing that ride of 800 kilos every day, I have a good place to rest for the night, to sleep. So because of that planning, right, I don't have any issue of fatigue, like trying to doze off on the wheel. I didn't experience any of that.
And fatigue can really be an enemy of one who is riding across borders, because if you push yourself more than you can, it's very dangerous. So the temptation of trying to cover up more miles, you're trying to beat time, you know, you're trying to be the fastest that's done it, you would run into problems, I can imagine.
Very, very, very true. Very true. You know, because like if you look at in sport training, you know, like I hear some people say they ride until they are tired. Then when you do the first day, you ride till you're tired. The second day, you'll be more tired.
Yes,
the third day is going to get worse. And by the fourth day, fatigue will set in, serious fatigue, and the guy could actually collapse.
And then you fly your bike back home.
Exactly.
Because you can't go on anymore.
What can my body take? My body can take 700 to 800 kilos every day. You know, with the bike that I'm riding.
Yes.
Then I just plug that on the map. And with that, you know, it was easier because my body can take the torture. So yes, fatigue will set in, but you know, not that much. It's something like the kind of fatigue I can cope with.
And then you know your distance. Even if the fatigue sets in at say 700 kilometers, at least you go an extra 100, and you get to the next town and you have a good nap.
Correct.
Quite nice. Let's go back to some messages here. Dr. Ike from Aja says, "Hey Lawrence, it's okay. Well, this is something else. Just appreciating the show. Okay. Well, this one says, what food is best for you in your 41-day adventure?" That's Bayo Ogunshola asking. What sort of food you had to eat? Did you have to pack some food with you, or you had to depend on?
I didn't pack any food. Actually, if you get on the road for that long, eating becomes very difficult. You don't have the appetite to eat. But one thing, you need to force yourself to eat, because you need that energy.
Yeah.
So, and as a sport guy, banana is one of the best food you can get.
And it helps to hydrate you as well.
It hydrates you and it gives you instant energy. So what I do, the Arab countries, they love fruits a lot. And this my ride coincided when they were having the Ramadan fasts.
All right.
So what I normally do is when I'm taking off in the morning, I make sure I stock some banana on my bike. I have the tank bag. I put it inside. Then maybe like 4 fingers or 5 fingers. Then I get to heat that down with my hydration pack behind me. So I get to take that. So that sort of pushed me into the next rest point for the day.
It's really, even while we're riding around within Nigeria here, it's really, you don't want to eat heavy.
Correct.
That's be another thing that will get you feeling quite lazy and tired as you rode. But Bayo is asking something else about. It says, tell us about the Ivorian lady. Is there something I didn't know there? Interesting. What Ivorian lady is he referring to now?
Okay, I think she's referring to Zainab.
There's something interesting happened.
Yeah, there's been a buzz on the social media about Zainab. I think Nigeria suddenly fell in love with Zainab. I don't know why.
Are you serious?
But,
Nigeria fell in love with her, or you did?
Okay, maybe all of us.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, actually, Zainab is someone I met about 6 months ago, and while I was actually still building, the plan for the map, and I didn't just want to read what I got on the internet and use that to do my planning. I needed to get somebody who's connected, who can give me real-time information on the ground. So I was looking for someone to do that for me in the Francophone countries, and a friend introduced me to Zainab, and she was able to connect me to 6 different people in 6 Francophone countries who were able to give me those real-time information that aided my planning. So in the course of that 6 months of, back and forth talking and discussion like that, I got to discover the person in Zainab, and I started liking her.
Oh, really?
So just to summarize this, if Bayo is asking, do I like Zainab? The answer is yes.
Wow.
Do I want to be with Zainab? The answer is yes.
Oh, are you going to be with her though?
Is Zainab available? The answer is no.
Oh, I see. So she's taken. It would have been nice though. Anyway, nice. See, that's part of the experience and stories you gather from whether planning and executing this sort of journey. Quite nice. So see why this makes for the perfect movie. There's even a story of love in the journey. Wow, amazing stuff. We just need a brilliant script writer, and boom, we've got it. More questions. This one from Osa in Abulegba, and he says, well done, Mr. Biker. I can't remember your name anymore. His name is Mr. Kunle Adeyanju AKA Lionheart, but he says, I follow you on Twitter and I've tried to keep up with your movement. He says he reminds me of the desert warrior Dr. Newton Giborno. I wish I could do something like this. I used to dream of being in the Paris-Dakar race as a child. Interesting trip, he says. Well, nice one there. Yes, let's see. This one says, good afternoon, Classic FM family. Please, I would like my comrade rider to talk about the Agberos on the way. In Lagos, you can't cross one local government area to another before they stop you for council stickers and rider cards. So apparently he's wondering if you encountered any other versions of our Lagos Agberos in other jurisdictions, I suppose. Did you experience that sort of thing?
In Europe, the answer is no.
Of course not.
In Morocco, the answer is no.
Okay.
In Mauritania, yes. In Senegal, no. Actually, all other places down to Lagos, the answer is no.
Really?
But Mauritania, yes, I experienced something like that.
But in Lagos, they definitely went on you.
You know, Lagos, the bikers, everybody was like, ecstatic about my arrival. So
yes.
even the Agberu supported it.
Of course. Let's take this one more. It says, congratulations, Lionheart. Please fill us in again on your experience when you encountered lions and hyenas during your awesomely brave trip. That's Ken in Lekki. And so what did you experience that now?
Yeah, there was some apprehension about that. That was actually when I was going to be crossing from Tambacounda to Kidira.
Okay.
Tambacounda is a town in Senegal, which is like 250 kilos to Kidira, which is the border town to Mali.
Yes.
And that road, the 250 kilo actually traverses through a park, a game reserve.
Okay.
And the Senegalese government actually has mandated that you can't be in the park by 6 p.m. because lion crosses into the road.
Oh, really?
But in the heat of the day, they usually go into a cool place, to stay. But there has been sighting of lion even in the afternoon, in the evenings, in the morning on the road. So I remember the day I was going to cross that park, and after speaking to the park rangers, and they told me all about the risk, and they said lions don't like bikers.
Of course, because the noise especially.
Yeah, you are two-wheel like them, and you're like threatening their authority as the king of the jungle.
Right.
So they want to attack you. If you're in a car, if you see a lion, you just roll up your glass and that's it.
And you're protected,
You're protected. But on the bike, you're just there. So I spoke to the park rangers. I engaged them quite a lot. How do lions attack people? Then I discovered a lion is a side chaser. It doesn't come to you head on.
Okay.
A lion like to sprint with you first, then outflank you.
From the back.
I said, okay, that's fine. Then I said, okay, I went online to check the maximum speed of a lion. And I realized that, okay, the lion, the maximum speed recorded was 80 kilometers an hour. I said, okay, so that's fine. We have a strategy.
Yeah.
Then I told my bike. So the following morning, I knelt down beside my bike, Eagle, and I have, a very deep heart-to-heart conversation with Eagle. And I said to Eagle, we are going to be going through a difficult route today. We are going through a park. There are lions, there are hyenas, there are cheetahs there. Okay, I need you to help me. No matter how sharp the bend is, no matter how meandering it is, I'm not going to drop the speed below 110 because we have to be above the maximum speed of the lion.
Yes.
So if we are going to survive this, so you have to help me, you have to cooperate with me. And, I felt my bike said, yes, let's go for it.
And you went on.
And we went on because when we got to the road, just some little turtle, I'm going to see the bike is like 140, 150. And I said,
it was very responsive now.
Like you're on steroids today, the stuff. So we went through the park. Yes, we didn't see the lion, okay, but there was another danger that was there that I didn't notice, and that was monkeys.
Oh.
The challenge with monkeys
very mischievous dangers.
They go in herd. You could see like 50, 30 of them.
Wow.
And they just come in front of you. And imagine if you're like on 140, 150, and you take a monkey, you are going down.
That's a crash.
So there was one where a head of monkey, maybe like 30 or 50, just went suddenly in front of me. And I was like on 150. I had to go hard on the front brakes.
Yes.
The bike nosed down because of the ABS.
Yeah.
The tail wheel went up, lifted up.
A stoppie.
The thing bounced back on the ground. And I said, whoa, that adrenaline feeling. I love this bike, that kind of.
Oh, man.
We had quite a lot of experiences. There were quite a lot of encounter with monkeys. And basically that was
a good thing you didn't experience a cheetah.
Yeah.
I mean, if a lion is doing 80, a cheetah might be doing twice as much or so. Way faster than that.
Yes, that's true. But they are short bursts. They can't
go for long. Yes, they can't hold it for long. That's actually quite true. Funny thing, that's why I thought maybe one of the challenges you might have with the lions is maybe because of the sound of the bike, the exhaust. I remember in 2020, we were riding from Lagos to Abuja. And Middleway, I think it was Lokoja or so, where one of our bikers, he saw some goats and dogs on the road, and so he revved loud to get them to move away, to scare them off. But what that did was, they got scared and they ran helter-skelter. But one of the dogs ran into him, he went down, and another one came to attack him. Yeah, and of course he couldn't continue that trip. He had gone down, he bruised his knee, and he had, in fact, for several, up till now, I don't know if that leg is completely, healed, but, it's one of those things you experience or you encounter when you were traveling like so. But it's interesting, really.
Actually, talking about, dog chases, I had that experience too. And you see these dogs, actually, they look like the African wild dogs, those wild, like ferocious looking, to the point that when I got into Senegal, it was a major concern. I told the guy that was a biker that was fixing my bike that I want him to change the horn on the bike, and put, like this kind of a truck horn.
Something louder, yes.
Something louder.
Air
to
horns.
Scare away the African dogs, because I was worried if I come across the African dogs again, because the ones I came across almost threw me down.
They're very audacious,
and also trying to use your leg to scare the dogs away. So you're almost losing control.
Yeah, all right. But let's go now to the reason why you rode from London to Lagos. Why did you take on this, adventurous but very, very risky journey across continents? Why did you do that?
You see, for me, the driving strategy around the whole thing is just to give back. To give back to the community, to give back to the world, to try to make the world a little bit better. As a Rotarian, to say, okay, I can use my lifestyle to touch people.
Yes.
My skills, my talent, I can use it to impact the world and solve some of those little problems we have in the world, which is actually what Rotary is all about. So I said, yes, I have a bucket list, those things I call the before I die thing, those things I want to do. Doing this biking from London to Lagos is one of them. But using it to address a noble cause that benefits people that I may not even meet, people that I don't even know, for me is key. And why do I choose polio? I chose polio because it's like a personal fight for me, to me rather. While growing up as a kid, I have a friend, one of my best friends had polio.
Oh, really?
And I remember back then, as kids, when we do all those things kids normally do, like go playing football, go swimming, go running, doing all those things. He couldn't do it. He just stood there, he would stay there by the sideline watching. Not because he doesn't want to do it, but because he was limited by polio.
Yes.
So sadly, we lost him 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm not going to say polio killed him, no. But did polio limited his potential to live the kind of life he would have loved to live? The answer is yes. And at that time when, his demise, I said to myself, I'm going to try and use all my might, all my resources, or
your ability.
I have, my ability to see that I can address the issue of polio, to bring so much attention to the issue of polio, so that another child somewhere doesn't go through that pain my friend went through. And basically that's why I did it.
Well, sadly so. Polio is a disabling and life-threatening virus. It's I think, spread by contaminated food and water. Although it's been, in Nigeria, it's been categorized as extremely rare, thinking about 500 cases every year. But what are some of the challenges that Nigeria faces with polio that, as you know, you have a personal experience now with your friend who has passed on, may his soul rest in peace. But Nigeria as well as a country, do you see the nearest future that polio will be something of a past in Nigeria?
Yes, it is. Actually, as we speak, Nigeria is certified polio-free by World Health because we haven't had any issue in the last 2 years before then. So, but the point is, the virus is still with us. Yes, people are not getting it because of the vaccine. But if we think, we become complacent that now we are polio-free, being certified polio-free, and we don't do anything, newborn babies will get it. And all the good works everyone has done to eliminate the virus from Nigeria is going to go down the drain. So we cannot afford to be complacent. We have to continue to do that immunization, get people to take the vaccine. And if you look at this, we have the technology, we have the vaccine to stop it.
Yeah.
So we should be able to stop it. And presently now, it's there in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And because people travel, just like COVID, they will carry it here, it will come here. So we need to make sure we're doing those things we've been doing that gave us that winning winning edge
Yes.
to kick out the virus from Nigeria. We have to sustain it. So getting people to increase the level of vaccine acceptance is the key driver to see how we can eradicate polio completely in Africa and even world over. And that is why it's a good thing for me when I saw that this whole initiative took a global dimension rather than just a Nigerian or African dimension.
Mm-hmm. In fact, your trip caught international attention. Even the BBC and the CNN wanted a piece of the story. I mean, Bill Gates himself, who has been contributing to the fight to eradicate polio in Africa and in Nigeria, I mean, since him and his former wife now, I would say, they have a foundation since 1988. He commended your London to Lagos ride as incredible, he said on Twitter. That must have made you feel very encouraged.
Yeah, I actually feel very happy when I saw it. And funny enough I didn't see it on time.
Oh, really?
I just saw my phone just kept going off the hook. Everybody calling, different people calling and chat messages. Have you seen Bill Gates chat? Have you seen Bill? I said,
wow.
Bill Gates chat. Then I went to check it up and I saw it. And you know why this is so key and important for me was Bill Gates has this matching grant for polio fund.
Yeah.
For every $1 that Rotary raises, Bill Gates matches it with $2.
Really?
So if Rotary has been able to contribute $2.4 billion in the last 30 years, that means Bill Gates has given $4.8 billion to support this. So you can imagine somebody who has taken that kind of personal interest in a cause like that coming in to say, this is incredible. And the good part of that story was when I shared it with the news of Bill Gates' tweet with the Polio Plus chairman for Nigeria, who happens to be in Houston now at the Rotary Convention, because they're having a conference where all the Polio Plus chair in all the countries of the world were there present.
Okay.
And when I sent him that chat, he replied back to me that I have a bigger news for you. And I said, what? Then he said, we just finished the Polio Plus presentation for all the chairs around the world. And guess what? Bill Gates' team came to make their presentation to us. And it was your picture they used as the star message in their presentation.
Well, that is absolutely encouraging, to be honest. It's good to see that, especially as a member that you are of Rotary International, that they're taking the kick against polio to be one of their strongest mandates. It's really, really good when you find such organizations doing something for humanity. And I'm hoping that more endeavors will be carried on by Rotary International. Hence, you being the lead head of that. Let's go now back to WhatsApp. There are so many messages here. Oh my, so many messages here. This one says, Lawrence, please, we need a history or book on his adventure from Lionheart. That's from Udidirim Sunday in Apapa. Okay, this one says, at a point I would think it's a lie, but being a desert person myself, I understand. I understand. I hail you. Where did you keep your food, or you didn't eat too? He's asking there. Of course, you've talked about food. Someone else is still asking if you ate, and did you ride at night? Did you ride at night?
No, I actually made it a point not to ride at night. The only point I rode at night was, when I had that issue at the Malian border, and I still needed to cover 90 kilos to get to my rest point, and that was when I actually lost my rear wheel.
All right.
So that was only incident I rode at night. But I always make it a point of duty not to ride at night. And basically, again, because of wild animals on the way. Because in the night, the animals, they are blessed with like infrared eyes.
Vision, yes.
So vision.
Yes. And senses.
They can see you. And by the time you see them, it's too late. So because of that, you study all this and try to see how you can mitigate all the risks. So that is why I actually don't do night riding.
This one says, Mr. Adeyanju, permit me to use this medium to congratulate you on the successful completion of a lifetime challenge you took upon yourself. You're indeed a man with the lion's heart. Well done. He says, hello, Mr. Kunle Adeyanju. Congratulations to you for the adventurous journey. I love adventure, but we need to give you, give it to you. Truly, you are a champion. Double Chief from A.K.A. saying that. I said, Lawrence, you can also do it. Please leave me out of it. let me conquer Nigeria first before we talk about traveling. And this one says, hi Lawrence, help extend greetings to Mr. Adeyanju. He is a great inspiration. Kudos to him. That's Yomi from Lekki. And it goes on and on and on and on. Before we let you go though, I then realized that riding from London to Lagos isn't your first taste of a true challenging adventure as it is. I mean, you've said you've ridden in a bicycle from Lagos to Ghana. Was it two-way now, that one?
Yeah, return.
To and fro.
Yeah, to and fro.
But I also found out that you've also climbed Mount Kilimanjaro twice in Tanzania.
That's correct.
You're a mountain climber as well?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Tell us about that.
Well, the mountain climbing, the first one was in 2008.
Not with your bike though, did you?
No,
I mean, if you tell me you climbed the mountain with your bike now, I will stop riding. Because
the first one was in 2008.
Okay.
And funny again enough, it was actually to raise funds for HIV/AIDS orphans in Africa.
Okay.
It was an initiative that was actually pioneered by Shell, and they called in for volunteers. And I volunteered. And, they made it so stiff that you volunteer for it is actually because you believe in that cause.
Okay.
Because, yes, if you volunteer, you have to pay your way through.
Mm-hmm.
If the company is paying, everybody might say, yes, just go for the fun and turn back halfway. But you pay your way through. So we did that. And, it takes 7 days to climb the mountain, 5 days for ascent and 2 for descent. And I can tell you,
wow,
the mountain is a very difficult environment to climb.
Of course.
Before you do the climb, let me just talk about the briefing you get. You get the camp commandant or the team leader gonna brief you, and they tell you all the training you've gotten. It's now time for you to put it into practice. And they tell you that the mountain is not your friend. It's actually there to kill you. So for you to come out alive is to use all those things you've learned to stop the mountain, to prevent the mountain.
So you had
from
training
killing.
first before you went on the
send you a series
climb.
of training of what to do.
How long did that take now? The training?
It took me like about 3 months. Just to follow the training regime that was sent in.
Incredible. 3 months of training.
3 months of training to climb.
Wow.
There are some people that I've had, they just go there without training and they still climb. It's okay, you can do it.
That would be rather risky though.
Risky, yeah.
Yeah, very, very risky indeed. Very risky. Incredible. So you've ridden a bicycle across Nigerian borders to Ghana. You have climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. You have done London to Lagos.
I've bungee jumped. I've skydived. I've done several.
Have you jumped into a volcano just by chance? I don't know.
No, I haven't.
A boiling volcano.
Out of the aircraft.
Kilimanjaro is even an inactive volcano anyway.
It's an inactive one.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Wow. Amazing stuff. Really amazing stuff. Okay. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on Classic FM here today. So many messages. Oh my God. I couldn't possibly. Well, let's just go into some of those messages before we let you go, just to see what people are saying. This one said, Bros, congratulations. I really appreciate your breaking story, and I know someday someone will beat the record you have just set. Congratulations. Good afternoon. That's Ben saying that. Hi, my question is, what if the 700, 800 kilometers doesn't take him to a town? That's Fuad. Okay. What would happen in that case then?
Well, there was no how it would take me to town, because I decided, and like if you remember what I said is I plotted this on the map
before
long
you started.
Before
yes.
I knew where I was going every day.
Right.
So it was clear.
It's all about planning.
It's all about planning. However, there was the time when I got to Lyon. Lyon was in Western Sahara, down part of Morocco. And because of the heat of the Sahara, normally I set out like 8 o'clock in the morning. But because of the extreme heat I had the day before, I decided to set out like 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 a.m. And when I set out, by 10:30, 11, I already finished the day ride.
Yes.
And I said to myself, how can I just sit down? Okay, let me push it. Maybe I checked the map. I saw a town further. It's a surfing town. I said, let me push it there. It's 300 kilometers away. All right, not a problem. I pushed it to El Agharub, and I got to El Agharub. I discovered there was no hotel. So, and I had to ask, where is the next time I can get a hotel? They said it's El Gararat, which is the Moroccan town at the Moroccan border.
Yes.
380 kilometers away. All right, I got no choice. I pushed it there. By the time I got there, I was really, really tired because I already did about 1,000 kilos.
Yes.
And when I got to the El Gararat, the Moroccan border, I saw an hotel there quite all right. The hotel was really nothing to write home about, but because of the state I was actually willing to take anything.
I mean, it's between the poor hotel or sleeping on your bike. So, I mean.
So, when I got into that hotel, I was about paying, for the hotel. Then I just looked through the window behind the receptionist there, and I saw like all these 100 to 150 or 200 economic migrants all sitting down around there, people trying to head towards Europe.
Yes.
And I just said to myself, if you stay here in the night,
there's going to be a
problem.
Yes.
Then I just said I couldn't stay here. Then I went to ask, where is the next place I could get a hotel? They said now it's in Mauritania, Noandibu, which is close to the border, but about 60 kilometers away. I said, all right,
60 is
I can
fair.
add another 60 to it. And so that day, I ended up logging close to like about 1,200 kilos.
Wow, just in one day. As opposed to the 700, 800 kilos you normally would do.
Correct.
Well, it's you don't lose in that instance. It's more miles anyway.
Exactly.
It's more miles. But this one question from Hamza says, how did you cross the Mediterranean?
Actually, on the way, there are 3 water crossing.
Okay.
The first one is crossing the English Channel. That's from Dover to Calais in France. Okay, so there's a ferry. For the English Channel, there are 2 ways you can cross. You can actually use the Eurotunnel, or you can use the ferry. The Eurotunnel is 35 minutes, but you are just in a hole under the ground, so it's boring.
It's very boring.
But I chose to use the ferry, which is an hour 30 minutes, and you can go to the observation deck. You can see the sea.
You have a good sight to see. Yes,
exactly. The second water crossing is crossing the Mediterranean Sea that he asked, and that's crossing through the Strait of Gibraltar. That's a 40 minutes ferry crossing. There's no tunnel there. So you just do the ferry that lands you into Tanzania in Morocco. Then the third one is a very short water crossing. That's 5 minutes.
Yes.
That's between Rosso in Mauritania and St. Louis in Senegal. So that's actually a badge. So those are the 3 water crossing along the way.
Wow. Final one I'd read here because there's so many of them. Trust me, it's so many messages here. This one says, hi Lawrence. Funny how you can travel safely on a bike from London to Lagos and you might not achieve the same feat traveling from one part of the country to the other. Quite unfortunate, isn't it? Quite unfortunate. But it was a tremendous welcome. Bikers from all over Lagos here. Several groups. You had bikers with attitude and determination. You had metallic bull riders, Ace. They all came together to welcome you from Semeboda into Lagos. How was that reception for you?
Actually, it was mind-blowing. You see, actually, even before that, what surprised me was when I was in the hotel in Cotonou.
Yes.
Right. And the receptionist just called me that some bikers are down waiting for me. I thought it was the Benenua bikers who came to escort me to the Nigerian border. So when I came down, there is a lady. Her name is Lara. She's been chatting me.
Yeah, Lara.
She's gonna be there. And I was surprised when I came there. I said, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
I said, but you're supposed to be in Nigeria. She said, yes, I rode in to come and pick you from here.
Lara is an incredible biker herself.
7 bikers there who came into Benin Republic. So we rode together from Benin to the border.
Yes.
And on getting to the border, I can't count, maybe 200 bikers, I don't know, but it was mind-blowing. It was as if the whole of Lagos stood still.
Yes.
The whole of Badagry were at the border. It took intervention of, the bikers with the aggressive push, the police, the army, the immigration, all of them to actually get us out of that place. So it was really mind-blowing. And like I said, I was blown out by the amount of love showered by Nigerians. Wow. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. And it made me, I've never been so proud as a Nigerian when I saw those crowds. And
the reception you got as a Nigerian across borders, right? In different countries, even in Europe.
Was quite beautiful too. Was quite nice. But if I'm going to use maybe one word or 2 words or to describe the kind of reception, if I call all the reception I got in other places an atomic bomb, right? I'm going to call the one in Lagos a nuclear bomb, because it was really, really mind-blowing.
Yeah, because we felt very connected to what you were doing. We felt very proud to see you as a biker yourself, doing something that's been internationally recognized. It's amazing how Nigerians find one way or the other positively to put Nigeria on international spotlight. And we really appreciate you for that. Thank you very much for that. We're looking forward to 2 things. Let's have it on record now. You will write a book about this, yes?
Sure.
You will.
Actually, it's 50% done now, so I need to finish it in the next 4 months.
Absolute gorgeous. So we're looking forward to we will have you on the radio again when that book comes out.
Thank you.
And we'll have your word for that, yes? And this will be amazing if you could have this in a movie, honestly.
It will be done also.
It will be done.
We're actually looking at putting it on Netflix too. I have a couple of producers talking to me about it already, and but I want my focus first on the book. Let me finish the book, because the book will form a larger part of the script for the movie.
Yes, of course, yes. Absolute gorgeous. Thank you so much. Absolute gorgeous. Thank you very much for making it over, Mr. Kunle Adeyanju, Lionheart. We would never disappoint. We know you would never disappoint. Thank you once again for coming through, for taking the time to speak with us. It has been an amazing 1 hour of conversations with you on the radio here. And
thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for listening. Back to the regular programming here on Classic FM 97.3. The Classic Lounge continues on the other side. Don't go away.